Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we'll be taking a look at notifications. I've covered notifications in the past, but I thought it's worth updating the video. We'll be taking a look at creating some rich notifications, which I didn't do in the previous video, and a couple of other tips and tricks as well. And in a future video, we'll be taking a look at actionable notifications. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe? And if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified, pun intended, when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's affiliate links in the video description to a bunch of the home automation gadgets that I've reviewed in the past, and some other ways to support the channel, like signing up for NordVPN using my affiliate link, or supporting the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. Now, in my original Getting Started series, we talked about sending notifications from Home Assistant, and I figured things might have changed since I last looked at this subject, so I wanted to revisit it and also add some things that we missed out on last time. Now, notifications come in many different flavors and can be super useful for you to know what's going on in your home and whether or not you're home or away. For example, if you've got kids, it might be nice to get an alert from your smart home when they get home from school and say their phone or tablet connects to the home network. Or maybe you want to get alerts on your phone when the doorbell rings, or maybe you're using Home Assistant for a burglar alarm and you want to receive a push notification if and when the alarm goes off. But we don't have to draw the line only at notifications to the mobile app. We can also use the text-to-speech engines built into some smart speakers to make those announcements for us as well within the house, such as having Alexa or Google announce to us that we've left the garage door open for the last 20 minutes or so. Now, in some cases, we would need to install custom components to make these work, like with the Alexa Notify service, but in other cases, like sending text-to-speech announcements to any media player in your home, like Sonos speakers or Google Nest smart speakers, etc., you don't need any special integrations at all, just a little bit of tinkering. So we'll demonstrate one of those examples as well. For extra detail, we can even make use of Home Assistant's templating engine to output data to the notification that we want to send. So let's get started by looking at sending a push notification to the mobile app on my iPhone here. For this, I'm going to just use the Developer Tools page in Home Assistant on the Services tab. But what you would want to do in your case is add these as an action to your automations instead. It is very simple to translate this call service to an action in an automation. So first things first, I just want to send a really basic message to my phone, but there's some prerequisites. You need to have the Home Assistant companion app installed on your phone and connected to your Home Assistant instance. It's also worth mentioning here that if your Home Assistant setup is not available to you when you're away from home, neither will these notifications be. It's generally recommended to set up remote access either using Home Assistant Cloud, which will set you back around $6 a month, or alternatively, you can use the free method using DuckDNS, which I've demonstrated both of those previously. So provided you've got the app installed, it's connected, and if you're in your home at least, or you've got it set up so that you can access it away from home, you should be able to follow along with what we're doing now. So to start with, I'm going to send a very, very basic message to my phone. And over on Home Assistant, I'm going to click on Developer Tools, and then I'm on the Services tab already, and I'm going to clear out what we've got here, and I'm going to search for Notify dot, and I'm going to add mobile, and I want mobile app Stuart's phone. So that is this phone that I've got here. And we can just send a message. This is a test. And if I click call service here, we get Home Assistant. This is a test on our phone, and I can pull down on that and we just see the alert there. We can add a little more detail by putting a checkbox in title and then adding test. And then if I call that service, we now get test. This is a test. Okay, great. So we've sent ourselves a test message. Now that we've managed that, we can try out some templating. Let's try sending the temperature here in the dining room to an alert on our phone. I'll change the title to temperature, and in the message I'm going to type the dining room temperature is, and I'm going to put in degrees C here as well. And between degrees C and the dining room temperature is, I'm going to start typing 2 open curly braces, and you'll see straight away it's booted us out of UI mode into YAML mode, and it says the UI does not support templates. You can still use the YAML editor. So I'm going to put 2 spaces and then 2 close curly braces, and inside here I need to type in what I'm trying to gather. So I'm going to type in states, and then open and close bracket, and then 2 quotation marks here as well. And I want sensor dot, it helps if I type sensor correctly, sensor dot temperature, and I want this first temperature sensor, the one that ends in DAD. And so we've got all of the same details before. We're using notify.mobile app Stuart's iPhone. The title is temperature and the dining room temperature is, and then we're extracting the value from the sensor and following it with degrees C. I'm going to tap call service, and we get an alert on our phone. Temperature, the dining room temperature is 28.6 C. This also works with state attributes. So the battery level of the dining room temp sensor is, and I can change this to state underscore ATTR, and after the sensor name, a comma, and then inside here battery underscore level, and I can change this to %, and I can tap call service again, and we get the battery level of the dining room temp sensor is 69%. Now this data, if I just grab this name here and head over to states and filter the entities by that entity, we see 28.6 and battery level is 69. So this is where I get the attribute for the state attribute that we just saw there. Okay, great. So now we're receiving some detailed notifications on our phone telling us exactly what's happening. Now, obviously, these particular examples might not be particularly useful when you're out and about, but this will still work with just about any sensor, and it will also work with the text-to-speech, which we'll demonstrate a bit later on. For example, we could read the humidity sensors, how much power our solar is generating, or the state of our home alarm system. So we could have a trigger of nobody's been home for 30 minutes and send a notification to our phone saying nobody's home and the alarm state is, and then use the templating engine to extract the state of the alarm system. And that will either tell you that it's armed for home, armed for away, disarmed, whatever state it is in, to either give you the peace of mind that your alarm is already armed, or to prompt you to arm the system. So with templating covered off, let's take a quick look at sending rich notifications with a live feed of the front door camera, and it is surprisingly easy. What I'm going to do is clear out this. I'm going to refresh this page and go to UI mode. I'm going to use the same notification method. I'm going to type in notify.mobile app and Stuart's iPhone, and we'll give it a title of ding dong, and the message, someone is at the door. And we could just tap call service and we'll get ding dong, someone is at the door right there on our phone. But if I tick this data box and then start typing entity underscore ID and then camera dot, and I'm going to choose front door medium. And the reason I'm choosing medium is because you'll see in a moment it already takes a long time to load the camera feed. But we've got the title, the message, and we're adding the entity ID of camera dot front door medium. And I will call that service, and you'll see on our phone we get ding dong, someone is at the door, and we've got a little thumbnail. And if I pull down on this notification, we've got a black box, and in a moment it's going to load the camera feed from the front door camera. Now, obviously, in your case, you would set this up as an action inside your doorbell automation. Now, depending on your network speeds, camera quality, and whether or not you're sending the highest quality feed or a compressed feed, this might be a little bit of a laggy connection, but it should be enough to at least identify what's going on, whether you're getting a parcel, a visit from a friend, or if it's a complete stranger trying to sell you something. Speaking of selling you something, from the 11th to the 13th of March 2023, I'll be at the Train and Hobby Show at Sandown Racecourse and Entertainment Centre in Melbourne's southeast. The Train and Hobby Show showcases the best hobbies in Australia, from model railways, ham radio and electronics, radio-controlled models, makers and arts and crafts, and this year, for the very first time, the Train and Hobby Show is adding computing and home automation into the mix. I will be at the Train and Hobby Show for all 3 days, and I'll have some demos of gadgets like light bulbs and smart switches. We'll have some basic automation set up to showcase some simple automations that you can do yourself in your own home. And I'll have a couple of Raspberry Pis set up, and I'll also show off my Grafana dashboard for energy and environmental monitoring that I use in my own home. So if you're in Melbourne from the 11th to the 13th of March 2023, come on down to Sandown Racecourse and say hello. Get your tickets today at trainandhobbyshow.com.au. That's trainandhobbyshow.com.au. Now back to notifications. So for some of these notifications, we might want to change the sound that the phone plays when the notification arrives to be something more suitable, and Home Assistant does in fact let us do this. The first thing we need to do is go into the Home Assistant companion app, and if we go to the drop down and go to settings, and we will be inside settings looking for the companion app settings, and inside here we've got notifications, and then we've got sounds. There are 3 tabs here inside sounds. We've got imported, bundled, and system. In imported, we can import custom sounds from our Files app on the phone or import from iTunes file sharing. That is a topic outside of the realms of this discussion, but essentially you can use iTunes Sync to copy files to your iPhone. We've also got bundled sounds, and there's quite a number in here. You'll see that we've got some that are using Alexa. There's one that's called Daisy. And there's some fun ones using a Morgan Freeman voice. I will say it sounds nothing like Morgan Freeman, but it is a bit of fun. And lastly, we've got system sounds here as well. Now, normally, when you first do this, there is a button here to say import system sounds. I've already done that, but you can see a list of all of our system sounds, and this includes all of our ringtones as well. So we've got plenty of sound options in here. I am going to be making use of doorbell.caf. So we're going to take a look at adding that to here. Now, it's important to understand that when we're adding the sound into our notification, we do need to make sure that we are copying the name of the sound exactly as it appears here, including the file extension. So we've got .caf files here, and we've got .wav files in the bundled section here. Back over on our Home Assistant in our developer tools or the actions of our automation, I need to add a couple of lines of YAML here. So the first thing I'm going to add is push and then a colon. Then I'm going to indent one line and type in sound and then a colon. And then I'm going to indent twice and I'm going to type in name and then colon, and I'm going to, inside some quotation marks, type in the name exactly as it appeared in the Home Assistant app, the companion app. I'm going to type that in here. So doorbell.caf. And now, so we've got ding dong, someone is at the door, camera.frontdoormedium. So we're still going to get the preview of the camera, but we're going to get a push notification sound as well, different from the regular sound that we would get. So if I'll call that service, and we got the ding dong sound. And if I remove that, the normal sound that we would get if I call the service is just the regular iPhone alert sound. So we can customize that to something a bit more appropriate. So as I mentioned, you can have a bit of fun with this. You're not locked down to just using the doorbell sound. The doorbell sound just seemed logical for this example. But let's say I wanted to use... So I've typed that in exactly as it appears in Home Assistant, hopefully, and I'll call that service.
The basement door has been unlocked.
And we get an Alexa voice saying the basement door has been unlocked. So as I say, there's nothing stopping you from using any of the other sounds. It is, however, important to note that you must enter the file name exactly as it shows here. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you walk around with your phone on silent nearly 100% of the time, and these kinds of notifications are not going to actually get through to us. So the last notification we'll talk about with the mobile app are critical notifications. And it really kind of does what it says on the box. It allows a notification that's marked as critical to break through any kind of ringer silencers or even the iOS focus modes. From where we are right now, all we need to add is 2 more lines of YAML. First things first though, I'm going to change this back to a doorbell.caf file and we'll indent 2 more times. I'm going to add critical and colon, and I'm going to add number 1. This can be either a 0 or a 1. This is just a Boolean operator. If it's 1, it is a critical alert. If it's 0, it is not a critical alert. And we can also add the volume item here, and we can put this to 1.0. The volume value needs to be anywhere from 0.0 through to 1.0, where 1 is 100% volume, and 0.5, for example, is 50% volume. So I'll set this to 1.0 as a critical alert, and over on my phone, I'm going to close everything that's open right now, and I'm going to flick the switch on the side of my phone to put it into silent mode. So you see that that is its silent mode, and I'm going to click call service. So we see ding dong, someone is at the door, and we heard the doorbell sound, and it was a bit louder than it was before. If I set this to 0.5 and call that service again, it was at 50% volume. And that was even with the phone in silent mode. And this also works with focus modes as well. The last thing I want to demonstrate is a very quick text-to-speech demo, and we'll close this out and we'll go text, and we'll go text-to-speech, say a TTS message with Google Translate. So again, you could do this in your automation as an action. I'm going to choose an entity and I'm going to type a message. And I'll click call service.
Welcome to the Hive.
And that was my lounge room Sonos system playing that text-to-speech message. And we can make this say anything we like, such as,
Where is the cat?
And so you can have a bit of fun with this again. Say you wanted to welcome your spouse home from work or those kinds of things. You can definitely use this to do all sorts of things. You can even use this with the templating that we mentioned before. So the temperature in the office is then go double curly brace, and again it boots us out into the YAML editor, and we will add states, open close brackets and open close quotation marks, sensor dot temperature, and we'll choose, I don't know if that's the correct temperature sensor, but it will do. We'll choose that and we'll click call service.
The temperature in the office is unavailable degrees Celsius.
That one's apparently unavailable degrees Celsius, but we can change it to temperature. Let's grab this one here and call service.
The temperature in the office is 26.0 degrees Celsius.
So you can use templating all the same as you did with the push notifications. So that's notifications in Home Assistant. I'm sure you'll agree how useful notifications are for smart homes. Let me know in the comments section how you're planning to use notifications in your smart home. In a future video, I'll be going through actionable notifications where we can send notification to our device and then define different actions to take from the alert itself. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your home automation journey. Be sure to comment down below with a home automation idea that you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing now. And while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I release new videos each week. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description down below. Any contributions you make through Buy Me a Coffee are put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.